Hello friends. People who spend a lot of time with animals claim that they can converse without words. People living off the land spend a lot of time with nature and tend to have incredible stories due to their lifestyle. They work in the wild, such as hunters, fishermen, and foresters can tell us many incredible stories. One such story happened in Primorsky Krai in Russia. It took place in the winter of 2008 in a remote village. A local paramedic was sleeping in his bed after a hard day's work long after midnight. At first, he thought that someone was walking outside his window, but then he heard suspicious sounds. There was heavy snowfall and it was very windy outside, so the paramedic thought that it must have been the sounds of the wind. An hour later, the man had to go outside anyway. Since in Russian villages, it is still common to have an outdoor toilet. Throwing on an old jacket, the paramedic tried to open the door, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't do it. He got the impression that it was propped from the outside with a sandbag, so the paramedic decided to climb out of the window. It wasn't the first time he had to do it, as the snowfall had blocked the door many times before. Having gotten outside, the man decided to succumb to his own curiosity first and go check out what was blocking the door. Looking around the corner, the paramedic knew that the escape route was now cut off from him. He couldn't believe his eyes, but a huge live creature was lying at his door, in the dim lights coming from the street lamp, covered with snow and swaying in the wind. The paramedic thought it was a tiger. Yes, he had heard stories about these big cats more than once, but he didn't want to get caught by one, especially here at the entrance of his own home. Predators usually come to people due to the depletion of the food supply in their natural habitat, forcing them to go looking for new sources of food. Did the tiger come to eat him? It was impossible for the man to run back to the window, and there wasn't even a stick around for the paramedic to at least try and protect himself. A horrifying situation that would make anyone's blood run cold. Both the animal and the man saw each other perfectly, but it took them 10 minutes or even longer to even begin to come closer. The mighty animal began to move, cautiously coming towards the paramedic, frozen with horror. And now in the dim light, the man could make out the striped skin. One bite, and it would be all over. But as it turned out, it wasn't that simple. The mighty tiger bowed its head to the feet of the man, something the paramedic didn't expect, to say the least. That's when the reason for this unusual behavior became clear. There was a gift around the tiger's neck from Chinese poachers, who were ruthlessly killing tigers in the border forests. The steel loop, which had treacherously dug into the neck, had already broken the skin, cutting deep into it. The wound was severely inflamed and festering. Contrary to the recommendations of every hunter he knew, the paramedic turned his back to the tiger and walked towards the barn. The animal obediently followed him as if they had known each other for a long time. One snap of the blacksmith's tongs and the steel wire opened its deadly embrace. Cleaning the wound was excruciating, but the predator didn't make a sound. He only refused the food brought to him by the person. When the inflammation subsided and the wound stopped emitting an unpleasant odor, the tiger disappeared, breaking off the wooden valve with its paws. About 10 days have passed since then, and the paramedic has finally stopped thinking about his adventures, but he was still afraid to tell anyone about them. One night, putting on his old jacket, he decided to go outside again, but the door was blocked and wouldn't open. There was no snow that night, and after the first incident, the paramedic was more curious than afraid. There was a deer carcass lying at the man's door, left in gratitude for his help. This wasn't the only instance of animals thanking humans either. As always, people have a lot to learn from them. It's possible we're made up of natural elements too, and so shouldn't keep moving away from it. We should think that if we want a future, we should be more careful of how we treat nature.